planetary princesses, and you have landed on our planet. A spell has been cast, and now you are one of us.
Hello and welcome to Planetary Princesses, your royal invitation to the cosmos. I'm Kate.
And I'm Ashlee.
And we're so excited to have you with us here today for the fall edition of our 12 zodiac signs through the seasons series. In this series, we are exploring the zodiac through the lens of the seasons. And so far, we've covered the signs of spring and summer, and now we're moving into the crisp, reflective, transformative energy of fall with Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. Whether you're new to astrology or have been following the stars for years, this series is all about deepening your connection to the rhythms of nature and the energy of each sign.
Yes, and looking at the signs through seasonal energy is such a powerful way to expand both your intuition and your understanding of astrology. It lets you move beyond keywords and traits and really feel what each sign is about and how it lives and breathes in the world about you.
Well, this is going to be so much fun. Let's get started with Libra season. And Ashlee, since you are a Libra rising and moon, I feel like you should kick us off with these Libra vibes.
Thanks. Yeah, I was thinking about it. I am a fall sun, a fall moon, and a fall rising. So this is totally my episode.
Gorgeous fall babe. Well, let's get started.
Fall fabulous. Okay, so in Libra season, we find ourselves at a turning point of the year. It's marking the start of fall from approximately September 23rd to October 22nd. Everything seems to shift more towards a balance, beauty, and connection. So Virgo season helped us tidy and refine, and Libra season invites us to re-enter the world with grace and with harmony and with intention. Days and nights become equal again around the fall equinox, which kicks off Libra season. This symbolizes Libra's desire to see both sides and to make space for both duality and nuance. It's a time when relational energy is heightened, and we might find themes of partnerships, of fairness, and aesthetics showing up way more clearly in our lives and in the collective. So Libra's a cardinal air sign. It brings in clarity, and Venus is its ruling planet, and it reminds us of the power of love, diplomacy, and creating something beautiful together. Let's put on your beautiful mood board that you made. Oh, pink, my favorite color. Did you guess?
Right, that blush pink and rose. I can't tell from what you're wearing that you like that color. Love that so much. Yeah, this mood board just really, doesn't it feel so peaceful?
Yeah, and I just love the apples because I just always think of apples during fall season, whether you're picking it or eating them. It just feels like a pink apple, something beautiful.
Pink, actually, don't they have the pink lady apples? Those are one of my
Those
favorites.
are so good. They sell those at Trader
Yes.
Joe's.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So great. I wonder if they knew it was just written in the stars that they're pink lady apples. And the colors of this season are just so beautiful, like the blush pink, the rose, romantic, refined. It really reflects that Libra Venusian softness and craving for harmony. And the other color prominent in this mood board is the ivory and soft white. That really symbolizes the purity and balance and the blank canvas that Cardinal Libra energy sets for the fall season. It also invites connection. It's a blank slate for connection to come through.
And then a dusty blue or like a sky blue. It represents the air part of it being an air sign. It's the clarity of thought and communication. And then it balances emotion with cool headness. Like Libras can always be like cool, calm, and collected, even though they might be feeling something inside. That's a Libra superpower.
It's so beautiful. And yeah, the pearl, I love the pearl essence of Libra season. It's kind of that like classic kind of style that you associate with just a classic beauty are the pearls, and pink pearls are gorgeous. And I made sure to include those on the mood board here. And also Libra, it's ruled by Venus, the planet of love, luxury, and harmony. It's also the ruler of Taurus, like we talked about in our spring episode, but it's a different kind of beauty that it evokes with the Libra season. Taurus Venus is more sensual and earthy, and Libra Venus is elevated and refined, like the pearls that you might wear during the season. And also, Venus really gives Libra its appreciation for art and beauty, symmetry and design, romantic and social connection, and also tact. And Libra doesn't just want beauty, it wants shared beauty, you know?
Yeah, because it's all about relationships and what other people think. And when you look at the symbol of every single sign, Libra symbol, like it's the scales, which represents balance, justice, and harmony. It's the only sign in the zodiac that's represented by an inanimate object. And that reflects Libra's deep concern with fairness, with ethics, and with equilibrium in all things like relationships, decisions, and power dynamics. The scales will weigh truth, emotion, and reason, trying to restore balance, like where things might have gone wacky. Libra energy often sees every side of the situation so clearly, which makes it really hard to choose just one, which is why Libras tend to get the reputation of not being able to make a decision because they can see every sign. And as a Libra rising, I naturally almost see the other side first before I can see my own. So for me, there's this internal scales of how can I make other people happy while still pleasing myself? And a more shadow side of the Libra is trying to please other people before pleasing yourself. Because with Libras, there can be a fear of disrupting harmony, of disappointing someone, or even that when you make a decision that it might be unfair to other people.
Well, that's so interesting because, yes, the Libras in my life that I know, they can possibly spend forever choosing what to eat, what to wear, kind of worrying a little too much about how a decision will affect others. And like you said, the shadow side is avoiding choices altogether and letting someone else decide, even if it leads to regret. And so that can be the growth opportunity for Libra, is to learn to weigh those opportunities, weigh those decisions, but make a decision that's aligned with your soul and your purpose inside rather than just deferring to what other people might want you to do.
That makes sense because we have the balance going inside, and a lot of times we take away from our own needs to make other people happy. And it can make us sometimes even come off as fake, especially Libra risings or Libra moons, because we care more about making other people happy than our own needs. So then later, when the truth comes out, hey, we didn't like that, people will be like, why didn't you speak up? And it's because we kind of, in a way, care more about you than us. Libra energy is deeply relational. It's wired to connect and to bond and really to create ease in social spaces, even when it means taking away from your own ease. So when that goes unchecked, it can lead to self erasure. And Libras may over accommodate others to avoid confrontation or rejection. We don't really like to fight. I mean, Libras sometimes do like drama deep down because it gives us a chance to weigh the scales. But overall, we don't like to be the one causing drama. There's often a reflex to say yes and to go along with what other people want, or to soften our own truth for the sake of the group. But with these struggles, there's often a deep wisdom, which is the ability to understand nuance, to speak really nicely and with grace, and to find beautiful solutions that other people may miss. So when Libras, like you said, learns to balance other people's needs with their own, it becomes a true form of peace. We're like judges in a way, but like nice judges, not like Judge Judy, who's like demanding. We're like the sweet, like, okay, let's hear everybody's side one at a time.
Yes, you're the nice judges. I love
Yeah.
I love that comparison. Because yeah,
Yeah.
it's all because being ruled by Venus, it's all in the service of beauty and peace and harmony. And so while you're going through the process, have to get into a little bit of light drama, shall we say,
Mm.
you also, it's all in the service of beauty and peace. And you look beautiful doing it because, come on, Libras, I always associate Libras with like perfect eyebrows, like a perfect middle part, that aesthetic symmetry that they innately have. And so, yeah, we love those nice judges of Libra.
What about like the weather during Libra season and how would that relate to being a Libra?
Well, in Libra season, that is the beginning of fall, beginning of autumn, and temperatures are cooling down, but the sun still feels warm. You have golden light. The shadows are a little bit longer, they stretch out. The air feels crisp and refreshing. And also, the leaves begin to change color. And that just creates stunning natural symmetry and contrast. And the natural world, like people book their trips to go visit the beautiful fall colors during Libra season to see all of those leaves turning. And the Venus Libra vibes just absolutely love this. It really mirrors Libra's refined aesthetic and love of beauty and desire for peaceful transitions. Because there's nothing more calming and peaceful than going on a stroll with your freshly picked apple and you're walking through the mountain trails, seeing the beautiful leaves changing. It's not too hot, not too cold. It's a season of balance. And
Mm.
speaking of balance, during Libra season, this is also after school has already started. Virgo season kicks off school starting. Now, after the first couple weeks of being a little anxious at school, things start to calm down. And Libra brings a smoother, more diplomatic kind of vibe. Students and teachers, they're no longer just trying to survive. They are starting to care about the classroom community and how everyone gets along. And, maybe they put people at certain desks and then now they got to switch up the desks a little bit because they've seen where people really get along better. Because Libra asks, how do we make this a space where everyone feels included and valued?
That makes so much sense. So Virgo season, the mutable restart. We're noticing every little detail. But now in Libra season, we're way more relaxed. The students have found their desks, they found their lockers, they have their routine set. So now it's really about where do we fit in socially? We want to make friends. We want to have friend groups. We want maybe someone romantic. Who are our people? Who do we sit with during lunch every single day? For younger students, this might also mean like learning how to share the toys in class. I know that my daughter definitely had to learn how to share toys when she's in a classroom full of toys and there's all these kids wanting to play kitchen at the same time. And it's all about creating a balance. And also for the older kids, there's homecoming. So homecoming is often the first big style moment of the school year. It's about picking the perfect outfit and coordinating with friends or a date and caring just as much of the aesthetic as the appearance. They embody Venezuelan beauty and social bonding, aesthetic planning, romantic anticipation. Will they notice me or not? The delicate dance of belonging, all classic Libra energy. So homecoming brings up like, will I have a date? Should we go as friends or are we something more? Are we official? Can I do a little soft launch or maybe a hard launch on Instagram? Then there's
Oh,
also
yeah.
dress, right? And then there's dress shopping, there's getting your nails done, there's planning the good makeup look. It's all like so how Libras are always like throughout the year. They really care about self-expression through beauty, balance, and grace. And then, of course, there's the whole homecoming, king and queen. It's like two people coming together and they're known as like a relationship partner and they're doing the first dance. And I know it seems silly that we're still talking about this. Like I graduated high school like decades ago, but at the same point, it's a ritual that happened when my mind was shaping. So it's something that really shaped feelings about this season.
Totally. And, it's so diplomatic. homecoming. Because like you're saying, homecoming king and queen, people vote on that. That's a very diplomatic process. And there's always a little bit of drama, kind of like soft drama, like we're talking about with the Libra vibe. It's nothing too serious, but some people might say, oh, that person was robbed, or like, what do you mean they're homecoming queen? They should have been this person. So there's kind of like that nice judginess a little bit when it comes to homecoming king and queen vibes for sure. And then during this season too, like in the classroom and in schools in general, the fall bulletin boards get a little prettier. Halloween and autumn decorations go up. I know in my school, we had this tradition where one of our hallways was always decorated with an art project that each art class did like a piece of it to make a big kind of puzzle, putting it together, making it a fall theme vibe. And that's so Libra, to have everybody working together to make something beautiful to display for everyone to enjoy during that season. And art projects, they focus on symmetry, design, beauty, all Venusian themes. And at this time of year too, students start expressing personal style, decorating their binders, decorating your locker, and also dressing up more intentionally. Like you're getting the beautiful outfit for homecoming, but you're also maybe getting a fresh new pair of shoes. Like maybe when you started the school year, you had an idea of your style, but then once you connect with others and you have these relational Libra vibes, you're like, oh, what do I want to wear to, reflect my relationships that I have? Like, what are all the cool girls wearing? What is everybody wearing this time of year? And also makeup becomes a ritual again, because summer, you're sweaty, you have a little bit of a minimalism to your look, and Libra season really brings back that love for refined and soft glam beauty.
Totally. And then also with the cooler weather, people will start like doing their hair again. People are booking haircuts and doing color changes. Or you brought up the eyebrows. I love eyebrows. So brow touch-ups at this time of the year. Salon appointments spike and people might go darker or redder, get their processes done and be more polished. There's definitely like a desire to feel more put together, to reflect inner quality through outer style. And also at this time, fall fashion begins. September marks the official start of fashion season in many places of New York and London and Milan and Paris fashion weeks all take place around in or really close to Libra season. So even everyday people are starting to rotate layered looks and cozy knits like the cute sweaters, boots with the fur, signature fall colors like burgundy and rust and deep greens. Their wardrobe is like definitely more intentional.
Definitely. And the fashion week, like really, the thing about fashion week that's interesting is that when you have fashion week, they're previewing the next season. So it's occurring during Libra season, a season of beauty and gorgeousness, but they're actually previewing the spring fashions usually. And that is happening around Taurus season, which again, ruled by Venus. And so the seasons are connected even across months here, like with the happenings. So I love that you brought up Fashion Week, because not only does it inspire you to be beautiful in the moment, but it's also inspiring you for a few months from now when Venus is ruling the sky again and we get to be pretty in the spring.
That was an awesome connection.
Glad you liked it. And also, we can't talk about Libra without talking about the fairness and ethics of Libra. Libra season is deeply connected to justice, fairness, and ethics. During this time of year, the collective energy often highlights the imbalances in power, inequality, and the need to restore fairness. And so at this time, you'll see a lot of student-led movements and lawsuits. Now that we're settled, what needs to be changed? And every year around Libra season, there are waves of activism at colleges and schools. Like students might protest unfair or sexist dress code policies during Libra season. And the Venusian influence brings attention to how people express themselves through clothing, as we just talked about Fashion Week. And so the activism at this time can be associated with how judgment and restriction of appearance can feel like a violation of fairness and beauty. And these protests usually begin with social media organizing, petitions, or school walkouts. And actually, in October of 2021, students at several US high schools held walkouts after their peers were penalized for wearing crop tops or tank tops. And this sparked conversations about gender bias in dress codes.
Totally. Like Libra season often coincides with school debates about pride events and gender neutral bathrooms, or even like policies that are anti LGBTQ. These protests reflect the Libra's mission of equality in relationships and visibility for those who have been marginalized. And many protests, what they're really doing is aiming to create a space of safety and belonging and representation for everybody. And one example is in October of two, students across Virginia staged walkouts against Governor Glenn Youngkin's policy that restricted trans rights students at school. And these protests emphasize the rights to choose pronouns, have affirming bathrooms, so the students can feel safe in educational environments where they should feel safe.
I love Libra season bringing the justice. And also, we can't forget that in Libra season of 2020, students across the United States walked out and protested in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, demanding anti-racism training for teachers and removal of school police. So protests during Libra season, they often involve demands for curriculum reform, staff accountability, and inclusive representation. And these actions often gain media attention because Libra energy amplifies the fight for fairness in all institutions. And so Libra, while they might not want violent drama, they definitely they bring the drama in bringing attention to these issues and really highlighting them so that they make the news and we talk about them and we cover them and they influence movements even outside the specific movement that maybe those people are talking about.
You know, what you're saying feels very, very, I want to point out that this feels very Libra sun. I feel like Libra suns are way more outspoken about social topics like this, when Libra moons will participate because they want the best, but they're more kind of on the sidelines, a little quieter about it.
Mm,
I just wanted to point that out. But
yeah,
also
that
what I'm
makes a lot of
thinking
sense.
about, yeah. But also what I'm thinking about is some high profile cases that happened during Libra season. The George Floyd Justice Act and police reform debates that happened in 2020 and 2021. So although I know that the George Floyd protest did start a little earlier, jury discussions around police reform, qualified immunity, and justice legislation were often resurface as around Libra season. Libra season amplifies the collective call for fairness and for accountability in the systems of authority. And there's also Breonna Taylor, the grand jury decision that was made in September 23rd, 2020, when a Kentucky grand jury declined to charge any officers for her shooting. Literally, one officer was charged with wanton endangerment, like for bullets that hit neighboring apartments, not for her actual killing. And this decision sparked outrage, like it should, and nationwide protests, reigniting the broader Black Lives Matter movement that had intensified after George Floyd's death. And activists linked these two cases together, chanting both of their names in the street. So Libra's association with justice, balance, and fairness were deeply felt, as many saw that these decisions were a massive failure of accountability.
Oh my gosh, yes. I remember that time and it was very intense and very aligned with Libra themes. And another legal battle that was highlighted during Libra season of 2021 was Britney Spears' conservatorship victory. And that was September 29th, 2021. A judge suspended Britney's father from her conservatorship after years of legal battle. That finally had the chapter close and a judge ruled on it at that time during Libra season.
I think he's a
And
total jerk.
Oh, the worst. Free
Mhm.
Britney. And the thing too about Britney's case that was so interesting is that actually Britney is a Libra rising. And so this happening during her rising season makes a lot of sense. She was able to rise again after the judge made this ruling in her favor. And she had the support of so many people. Actually, the Britney movement is what helped bring attention to this and really make it so that she had the public profile. People were writing articles about it. And it was because of people organizing on social media. And that whole process of doing that is what brought attention to this. So, really highlighting those organizing principles of Libra. And also, during this time, we have had the Me Too legal wins and sexual harassment verdicts. Harvey Weinstein's criminal trial developments and sentencing updates often made headlines during Libra season, and that reflected the archetype of Libra rebalancing power and giving voice to those who were silenced. And we also, Ashlee, we can't talk about this without talking about Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. Got to talk about please talk about this with me.
Yeah, so it happened around Libra season in 2022, but a lot of the pre-trial depositions, media filings, and discovery motions really started gaining momentum Libra season 2020 and 2021. And this case really blurred the lines between celebrity image, truth, and public opinion, which is very Libra. It's the court of perception versus the court of law. And also, Trump got into some legal trouble. Several legal and political controversies involving Donald Trump definitely gained some steam during Libra season. In October, Libra season of 2019, impeachment inquiries officially have began. And then in October 2023, legal motions related to the election that he may or may not have won, interference, and fraud cases definitely circulated in the courts.
Wow. That whole vibe of Libra season, it's really clear justice and fairness is what we are fighting for during that time. And wow, all of those legal challenges and victories and battles just exemplified with that energy.
So much
But
drama. And let me tell you,
oh,
I
yeah.
love watching court cases on TV. Like, I'll go onto the court YouTube channels and just like watch an entire trial from beginning. Like, I just love it.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, who doesn't love Judge Judy? Like she has her new
Mm.
show. I forget what platform it's on, but I mean, I just love, well, you especially would love that with your Libra rising and moon. You want to see fairness and the judgment happen in favor of the people that deserve it. So that totally makes sense that you enjoy that.
Yeah. And as like all this Libra energy, I really admire a person who can tell it like it is and create waves because Libra moons, Libra risings, and Libra suns, like we tend to automatically see the other opposing side first. So I love to see someone like not afraid to poke through it and point out the little gaps in the truth and who can really bring that to the surface.
We're all very lucky to have Libra suns, moons, and risings out there
Thank
because
you.
such important. I love you. And
Thank
now to lighten the mood a little bit, let's
you.
talk about the flavors of Libra season. So when we talked about Taurus season, we talked about how they love the sensual pleasures, sensual delights, and Libra being ruled by Venus is the same thing. Libra season has so many tastes that you can just immediately associate with it. It tastes like apples and cinnamon. It smells like pumpkin spice and it feels like holding hands underneath the golden leaves. Everything is balanced. Everything is beautiful. Everything is better when you share it in Libra season. And we kind of already talked about apple picking. That is such a vibe during Libra season. You're going out, you got your flushed cheeks from the crisp air. You're holding hands at the orchard, and apples really are seen as a symbol of beauty and love and symmetry. Snow White comes to mind, the apple representing the beauty of Snow White. And also, the golden apple of Venus or Aphrodite is another symbol of that Venusian beauty. Apple picking is a classic Libra season activity because it's social and it's scenic and it's centered around shared experiences in the beauty of nature. And apples reflect Libra's desire to keep things wholesome, but also pleasurable. And they're sweet, but not too indulgent. Pink lady apples, anybody? And refreshing, but also very grounding.
This is really making me want a juicy pink lady apple or maybe a jazz apple.
Ooh, I
But
love
when
jazz
you
apples.
Yeah, those are the best, right?
Yes,
So when we go apple picking, what do a lot of people do when they bring it home? They make apple pie. And what do they add to the apple pie is cinnamon. So cinnamon, I feel, really is good at representing Libra energy because it's big during that season. It has the warmth, the connection, and the softer spice. It adds just the right amount of heat for us basic people, warm but not overpowering, just like Libra's diplomatic charm. It stirs a sense of emotional coziness, soft nostalgia, and a sense of inner peace. Cinnamon, it often shows up in like shared meals and sweet treats, supporting Libra's love of hospitality and connection. And I know some of our witchy friends like to sprinkle cinnamon on their front door at the beginning of the month, I think,
that's
to create
right.
abundance
Yes.
into their home. So it's like an offering to invite every abundance into your home.
Oh, I love that. And that's also the cardinal that calls back to the cardinal
Mm.
energy of Libra, like starting a new season and blowing the cinnamon into the front door of your home. It's like that fresh start at the beginning of the month. That's very mirroring that cardinal Libra energy.
Oh my God, I didn't even put it together. That was a cardinal thing, but yeah, it's so cardinal. Love it, Kate.
Yes.
Um, Also, one of my favorite things in the world that I get made fun of a little bit, but pumpkin spice is a mirror of Libra energy. It's a balanced blend of harmony in a cup because it's a carefully crafted symphony of cinnamon, of nutmeg, of clove and ginger, and maybe sometimes a little cardamom. These spices work in balance. So like no single spice overpowers the others. It's comfort with refinement, just like Venus. Sweet but not sugary, spiced but not aggressive, nostalgic but also like super trendy. It brings emotional coziness and an aesthetic pleasure together in just a sip. I feel like Dunkin' Donuts should sponsor us right now.
Oh,
If you're listening.
definitely. Come on. Bring it to us, Duncan.
Yeah, but just like Libra wants relationships that are emotionally fulfilling and visually pleasing, that's what pumpkin spice really is.
Yes, and pumpkin spice too, having coffee, that's a social ritual. You know, you're connecting with others through sensory pleasures. Libra energy thrives in shared spaces like afternoon dates and quiet chats, ambient beauty like the beauty of a gorgeously decorated coffee shop. Pumpkin spice invites those rituals. Coffee dates with friends, autumn walks with a warm drink in your hand. My favorite drink in the past was a caramel apple spice. I love that combination of the apple and the spice. That was my personal fave. A little hot apple cider moment. And pausing your day to sip something is just so seasonal and lovely and Libra. It's really a social bonding experience and an excuse to slow down and share something delightful. And also, this is part of the transitional magic from summer to fall because Libra sits at the autumn equinox, which is the precise moment of balance between light and dark. Pumpkin spice is that perfect marker of the season. It appears just as summer fades. It's the first sensory signpost that change is coming, but it kind of eases you into it. And it doesn't demand transformation, but it invites it softly through flavor and scent.
Starbucks, do you hear us?
I know. I'm like, now I want my caramel apple spice to enjoy.
Literally, I'm going there after this on the way to pick up my kids. I'm
I love
stopping.
I love it. And we can't talk about Libra season without also talking about the beautiful flowers associated with the season. You have this variety of roses called knockout roses. They are beautiful and they're tough yet elegant, just like a Libra who's learned boundaries. And they're available in romantic colors like cherry red, blush pink, soft coral, and creamy white. Very Libra palette, and they're often planted in clusters, gardens, or shared landscapes, which makes them a communal flower, not a solitary one. Very Libra, because Libra rules relationships and social harmony. Knockouts literally beautify the shared spaces.
So pretty. And there's another kind of rose that blooms in the fall, and it's called Lady of the Dawn roses. They're extremely delicate, but they add like a lot of romance. They're like pink blooms with a creamy tint to evoke a sense of charm and pleasure. The name itself evokes the goddess archetype, which fits the Libra's Venusian rulership. Dawn symbolizes the transition from dark to light, equilibrium, just like how Libra is placed at the autumn equinox, which is the moment of cosmic balance. Libra people often play the role of emotional dawn in each other's lives. Libras are the ones who tend to bring clarity and calmness and hope after intensity or confusion. So the layered petals of these roses represent the emotional complexity that Libras hide beneath its poised exterior. And just like this rose opens again and again, Libras open their heart repeatedly, even after they're being hurt, because they're always hoping for connections and always choosing love and beauty.
Oh, so beautiful, that Libra energy, always wanting to connect with others, even after being hurt. That's so sweet and very symbolic of that rose. And also, we have to talk about cosmos flowers. Those are beautiful. They're one of the most quietly perfect representations of Libra energy because they're soft, symmetrical, romantic, and balanced. And the word cosmos comes from the Greek word cosmos with a K, meaning order, beauty, and balance, which is the exact themes that define Libra. In ancient philosophy, cosmos was the opposite of chaos, a system where everything is perfectly arranged. So, cosmos flowers, they're known for their perfectly balanced radial symmetry, which visually reflects Libra's obsession with aesthetics, proportion, and elegance. And
That was
now that
awesome.
we, oh, I love Libra flowers. And now that we leave Libra's light and beauty behind, we are going to step into the deep waters of Scorpio season from October 23rd to November 21st. Scorpio is a fixed sign. It's nestled right in the middle of fall, and it's the time of year where the natural world begins to quiet down. The leaves fall, the animals burrow in, and the days grow darker. There's a softness and stillness to it, but also an undeniable intensity. And Scorpio brings us into themes of transformation, release, mystery, and emotional depth. It's a season of shedding what's no longer needed and honoring the cycles of endings and rebirth, both around us and within us. So let's pull up this Scorpio mood board here. And wow, right away, look at the vibe shift.
I'm laughing at the tongue, the little monster guy tonguing the lady's
Yeah.
face. That is the best. I have to say, like, I know I say this about like almost every sign in readings, but for realsies, Scorpio is my favorite sign. I just love it.
Hot
The
take. Wow.
darkness, the mystery. Well, I mean, I have a lot of Scorpio in me, so I'm not meaning to boost
Well,
my own self. My brain is a Scorpio.
I'm an eighth house sun, so I am right there
Ooh.
with you. I totally get it. And yeah, Scorpio is something that in culture, pop culture, is sometimes like talked about almost like to be feared, but it's actually the most powerful of all the signs, I feel. Don't you agree?
Definitely. And I was having a conversation with some of my friends the other night, and they were talking about how like Scorpio risings might come off as being like scary, like the goth look. Like they were
Hmm.
wondering if like, hey, I'm a Scorpio rising, but I'm not like scary looking. And it's not even about scary, it's about shyness in a way, or withholding parts of yourself and letting it release over time. So sometimes the Scorpio, I notice like there's two kinds of Scorpio risings. Like there are the intense ones like Lala from VPR. And then
Mm.
there's also the shy ones who just like to just disclose things a little slowly. They're a little bit more private about themselves.
Oh, that really makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that withholding quality of it. It's not, and it's a form of protection because Scorpios are so magnetic. Things are just drawn to them. People are drawn to them, and so they have to have a little bit of a barrier sometimes, especially when they have that rising sign energy. And looking at the mood board, we've got the colors of Scorpio season. You have the deep black. Of course, we all know that that's associated with Scorpio season. It's the color of the unknown, the unconscious, and shadow work. And because Scorpio is the sign of what's hidden, like secrets, desires, grief, and power, black represents that veil between worlds. And black is also the color of elegance and seriousness and control, which are all core Scorpio traits.
Then we have burgundy and deep red, and not like the bright, cheerful red. It's more of like a darker red, a more knowing red, a more lived in red. It represents like passion and power, seduction, and emotional depth. These shades like symbolize intimacy and emotional intensity and the life, death, and rebirth cycle.
Yes. And then also, don't have a ton of it on this mood board, just a little bit, but that burnt orange and rust color, because those colors really represent the autumnal decay, the leaves falling, the world turning inward. They're warm tones, but they're leaving us. They're showing that this is a transitional period. And they reflect letting go, a key Scorpio theme, while still being warm and visceral. And they capture the edge between emotion and embodiment, much like the Scorpio flows between feeling deeply and transforming completely. And then we also can't forget about charcoal gray. It's kind of representing that storm cloud right before the downpour. It's that emotional complexity and the space between black and white. And Scorpio doesn't do surface level thinking. The gray allows for nuance and moral depth and ambiguity. And it's also a color of elegant detachment when Scorpio needs to retreat and observe.
And then a lot of people, when they think of Scorpios, they sting like a scorpion because a scorpion is the symbol of Scorpio energy. It's small and it's fierce, but it doesn't lash out for like no reason. Like it's not going to just come over and sting you. It's going to do it when it feels threatened, and it strikes with precision, which reflects Scorpio's emotional nature. It's deeply sensitive, but often hidden between like it's often hidden beneath a cool and controlled exterior. Control is so Scorpio. So the sting symbolizes emotional intensity, the potential for betrayal, and the power to wound or protect. Also, the scorpion can live in harsh climates. They're often nocturnal. They love the dark and hiding under rock. Just like the Scorpio energy tends to thrive in intense shadow, darker, or solitude.
Well, I have to talk about scorpions because I live in Arizona where scorpions are a huge part of our life. They're a thing, and like you're talking about them being hidden, they will hide and make their nests between the bark of a palm tree. So they're like underneath the surface of the bark. And then, like you said, they come out at night, and people will, for fun, they'll take a UV light and they'll hunt for scorpions at night when you have a scorpion problem at your home. And I think that's just so Scorpio to like go out in the middle of the night, have a UV light, and be like hunting scorpions.
Hunting, investigating is so Scorpio. When I come
Yes.
visit you, I'm going to wear a hazmat suit because I'm terrified.
Oh my gosh, don't worry. I will protect you. And the funny
Thank
thing
you.
about scorpions is that they live in like big colonies kind of. I don't know if that would be the technical word to describe their grouping, but they tend to like be magnetized together, and they're not everywhere. They kind of get concentrated in pockets. And I feel like that's kind of Scorpio vibes, like being with the magnetism of them, like finding their unique home. And then they all band together and sting at the same time. Luckily, my house is pretty safe. So you're good, Ashlee. You can put your hazmat suit in the closet, but we can just bring it out if we travel around town a little bit.
I'll wear it to your front door, and then your dogs will protect me.
Perfect. Well, now that we've covered the symbols of Scorpio, what's the weather like? during Scorpio season?
So, like Scorpios, it's getting a little darker. The lights dim, the days grow shorter, the shadows stretch, and the sun starts to really lose its warmth. The descent into darkness symbolizes Scorpio's journey into the inner world. Like they like to go and search, go deeper and deeper, where transformation and truth and emotional depth live. So Scorpios love to go deep, and the bite in the air mimics the Scorpio's sharp edge. Clean, bracing, alert. It really wakes you up. The chill in the air is going to really invite you inward into your home, your layers, your thoughts. The world is cooling down, but inside something is burning. Scorpio rules the emotional undercurrent that burn inside. So it's like that kind of weather that pulls people into reflection and solitude or even intimacy. So Scorpio season weather represents turning inward, breathing through the cold, emotional intensity beneath the quiet, the mysterious, and the unseen. So it's like a fire, but not a fire lit to like bring people around. It's a fire that's lit for survival.
That's so interesting, that analogy too, because even though Scorpio's not a fire sign, it really has that kind of, because it's a fixed water sign, it has that stability of being able to like burn without being an actual fire sign. It's very, the energy is cultivated in almost like a core inside. And I feel like it's the closest water sign to fire, if I had to say. That's I
Totally.
you know what I mean?
It is ruled by Mars. So
Oh
also, if you
yeah.
look at Cancer energy, if Cancer is like the water at the beach, the waves coming up, Scorpio energy is like deep at the bottom of the ocean. We have to find a picture of like the deep, deep part of the ocean where
Yes.
it's like miles, a whole world down there. That's what
Yes.
Scorpio would be like, the world underneath of the deep end of the water.
Well, that makes so much sense. I'm so glad you made that comparison, 'cause that makes total sense. And during Scorpio season, like what's going on during Scorpio season? It's a time when the veil gets thinner. And the veil, you might hear that term used, that the veil gets thin or in Scorpio season. That's a metaphor for the boundary between the seen and the unseen, the physical world and the spiritual or subconscious realm. Like when we say the veil is thinner, we mean that you're more in tune with the energies, emotions, your ancestors, your intuition, and also dreams. And the spirit world and psyche feel closer than usual. The veil being thin means that you may receive insights, symbols, or messages that don't come through ordinary logic. And you might receive you might learn deep truths, both personal and collective. They kind of come up to the surface at that time. And so you might notice during the veil being thin that you have vivid or prophetic dreams, that you're feeling more empathic or energetically sensitive. Ancestral memories or family themes tend to come up during this time. And you might feel also an urge to do shadow work, maybe go to therapy, do some emotional purging. There's a heightened interest in divination, astrology, tarot, and also mediumship during this time. And grief can surface in unexpected waves during this time. There can be moments of eerie synchronicity or also deja vu. And Scorpio people, they generally have a thinner veil. And so this month really gives us a little taste of what it's like to be a Scorpio.
Very, very true. I mean, in a way, it's probably the most psychic of the signs. They can see what's going underneath, and like the veil thins out throughout Scorpio season. And by Halloween, it's probably like the thinnest veil time of the year where you might be able to like see a ghost or something like that. It's more likely. Scorpios might have that ability all the time. And
Yes.
I was
And
thinking about,
go
oh,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I was thinking about pumpkin carving.
Yes.
Yeah, carving a pumpkin is so Scorpio. You're literally taking something whole and slicing it open. Carving a pumpkin literally requires you to cut open a tough exterior, reach inside this messy, stringy, gross stuff, and like scoop out the guts. And that's basically a metaphor for shadow work, emotional healing, or removing what's inside to make something more meaningful. And once the pumpkin is carved, you put a candle inside and light it up. That glowing inner light is pure Scorpio symbolism. You're finding illumination through darkness, my favorite part of Scorpio, and creating beauty from something that's been hollowed out. So a Scorpio vibe is like, even when something's decaying, because the pumpkin kind of is decaying at that point, there's power and there's light inside.
That's such a beautiful metaphor for Scorpio, being lit from within, like going deep, formative. And also with that, we were talking about Scorpio risings, the outside of a pumpkin can be a little spooky. You can have a little bit of a scary face carved in there, but the symbol as a whole, that is so Scorpio. I love that. And also during Scorpio season, we have the harvest. And harvest is a symbol of death and continuity. Like corn husks, dried wheat, and pumpkins, they might look cheerful, but symbolically they're about what's been taken from the earth and how it's now dying so others can live. And Scorpio rules death, sacrifice, and transformation. And the harvest is a literal reflection of that. We gather, we cut, and we prepare for winter. And it's not just decor or what sustains us, it's really a sacred farewell to what once bloomed.
Ooh, got the chills from that one. You know what else gives me the chills? Report cards. So,
Oh my gosh, yes.
from school. So, like in school, you get the report card, and around Scorpio time of the season, the first quarter grades have been posted or they're about to be. And listen, that is such a spike in academic stress, such Scorpio vibes, because what it does is exposes the truth about the effort you put in, the discipline that you have, and the emotional coping. It's all like quietly unfolding at each quarter. So no matter what you look like in class, no matter how smart you look, your grades are going to reveal like what's really going on with you. Um, they kind of
Scary.
like, yeah, it's so scary. Like I'm like getting like the creeps thinking about them. Like, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that crap anymore. Sorry
Yes.
if anyone's still in school, but
We love you. We're
report-
sending you love.
yeah, sending you so much love. Report cards represent external judgment in a way of like internal effort that can stir up feelings of powerlessness, especially for students who struggle in traditional systems. Definitely me. Scorpio is a sign that understands control, resistance, and empowerment. So report cards might trigger students to take back power over learning or rebel against systems that are unfair.
Yeah, there's nothing like a bad report card to get you to question how was this even graded? Like how did we get here? What are you talking about? School sucks.
Yeah, not fair
that kind
at
of vibe.
all. Like, yeah.
Totally. And like that's when the emotional depth of the season hits because by this point the students and teachers are settled into their routines, but the real feelings start to come out. Hidden struggles like anxiety or burnout or even themes with friendship that comes to the surface at this time. And some students might begin to withdraw or act out. And that really reflects Scorpio's deep emotional sensitivity. And at this time, like friend groups tend to shift. Drama may be stirring up under the surface, and Scorpio energy amplifies loyalty, jealousy, trust, and betrayal. So this is like gossip and crushes and whispered secrets. They're all heating up, and it's a Scorpio vibe. Like, who can I really trust? Like, who's being real?
Yeah, because like we spoke about before, in Libra season, like relationships are forming. We're wondering if we can do a little hard launch. So by Scorpio season, you might have done your hard launch, but now like things from the relationship are coming up. Like, now that I'm getting to know this person, like how compatible are we really?
Totally. And also in Scorpio season, we have some big holidays that we all celebrate. And the first one we were going to talk about is Samhain. I think that's how you pronounce it. Virgos, don't be upset. It's a pagan festival and it marks the end of the harvest. It falls right during Scorpio season. And it's traditionally believed to be the time when the veil between the living and the dead is thinnest. And many cultures around the world hold ancestor veneration rituals during this time, like Dia de los Muertos and All Souls Day. And then, Ashlee, we have to talk about Halloween, the most Scorpio holiday ever.
Yeah, because everyone is wearing like a mask, a disguise, or a costume, maybe to reveal another part of themselves. Because when you put this costume on, you kind of embody this character, and parts of your deep inside come out to play this character. So dressing
Yes.
up, yeah, taps into the Scorpio archetype of becoming something else. Like, am I a witch? Am I a vampire, skeleton? Or a version of myself that's a little bit more dangerous. And then there's skeletons and ghosts and graveyards and like decay everywhere in Halloween. But it's really not to like scare people or anything like that. It's really to just talk about the reality of death, I guess, which is
Hmm.
so Scorpio. Scorpio rules death and rebirth, both literally and figuratively, not as endings, of course, but like as a necessary part of the soul's evolution. Halloween makes death visible, artistic, or even like celebratory. It's kind of weird. But
Hmm.
that's Scorpio's magic is facing the dark and finding beauty in the dark. Like just everything just feels so crazy. I'm just going to laugh and enjoy it. That's a Scorpio theme. And Halloween blends thrills and chills and fear and fun. It's a holiday where we flirt with danger, haunted houses, and scary movies and creepy stories and trick or treating. So Halloween is a collective ritual since like a lot of people, at least in the US, do it, but I know in other countries, I think they do too, that reveals hidden desires, playing with fantasy, and also experimenting with power through appearance.
Yes, because Halloween is one of the only times where people can express bold sexuality publicly without shame, especially women and femme presenting people. Because the costume, it becomes a shield and a spotlight. Like, this isn't me, but also this is totally me, And Scorpio rules the hidden self, and Halloween is when that hidden self walks freely in the open. And the sexy costumes are also about controlling the gaze, like directing attention and owning the body in a new way. And so whether someone is dressing as a sexy nurse, a cat, a devil, or a goddess, what they're really saying is, I get to choose how I'm seen. And I like being seen this way.
Yeah, it's a great day. I mean, Scorpio is a very sexual sign. Halloween is like one of the days during the year where a lot of people who normally aren't comfortable showing off that side of them can without judgment. In fact, it's actually like encouraged.
I love that. We need that opportunity. Thank you, Scorpio season. We
Yeah.
need you for this.
I love a good short skirt.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. And I can think of Halloween without thinking of the classic Mean Girls scene where she's like, I'm a mouse. Duh. And that's just, it's showing the true Karen personality. She gets to be sexy and show off her little ditziness, which we love Karen. We love Mean
I
Girls.
love her.
Yes, the
She's a
best.
Sagittarius.
She is. Oh, I love that.
In real.
Yay. No wonder we like her so much. Well,
Yeah.
well, before we move on to our next season, we have to talk about flowers that are associated with Scorpio season. And so even though Scorpio season is a time of decay and retreat and descent into darkness, there are still some flowers and plants that bloom, and they match the Scorpio energy perfectly. They're moody, mysterious, healing, resilient, and often symbolic of life and death cycles. And so
Mm.
we'll begin with geraniums. And the thing about geraniums is they bloom when others fade. And so as the other flowers die back, geraniums hold on and they thrive in cooler temperatures. And this echoes Scorpio's ability to withstand emotional intensity and thrive during transformation. And in folklore and magical traditions, geraniums are used to protect against evil, warding off negative energy and guarding the heart. And they are planted near doorways and windows to protect the home from unwanted energies, which is very in line with Scorpio's instinct to guard emotional and psychic boundaries.
Ooh, love it. And marigolds, they peak around Dia de los Muertos, so November 1st and 2nd. In Mexican tradition, they're known as the flower of the dead. They're believed to guide spirits home with their vivid color and scents. And both the golds and the oranges contrast Scorpio's dark moods. However, they do carry the ancestral reverence and ritual power.
Beautiful. And aren't they used in that movie, is it Coco? The Disney movie? Like where that's all about like Dia de los Muertos. I feel like they use that flower, marigolds, in the
So cool. We have to look
advertising of
that up
that.
and
Yeah.
put up a
I'll have to
picture.
I'll have to fact check myself on that. But also the last flower we wanted to talk about for Scorpio season is witch hazel. And that blooms in November, even after leaves fall. It's an odd but magical late bloomer, and its yellow fringe like blossoms bloom on bare branches. And that symbolizes life after loss and resilience in the void. And it's also used in traditional medicine and magical cleansing rituals. And the symbolism for Scorpio is a flower that dares to bloom in the barren. And that is just a beautiful alignment that it has with the season.
I got the Scorpio chills.
Ooh, Scorpio is it's so powerful and magical. It's not scary, guys. It's a fun time. It's very deep and transformative.
Yeah. It's like eating all the candy, the trick or treating, like that part of the
Yeah.
season. It's magical, and Scorpio is a very magical sign. So, Scorpio season's in the middle of the fall. But as we move through the final stretch of the fall, we rise through Scorpio's deep waters and we step into the open skies of Sagittarius season, which runs approximately from November 22nd to December 21st. So after all of that shedding and soul searching, Sagittarius brings a breath of freshness. It's a reminder that there's always more to explore, more to learn, and most importantly, there's more to believe in. The season is all about expansion and inspiration and truth seeking. It invites us to zoom out and to reconnect with our sense of wonder and follow whatever sparks our curiosity, whether that's through travel or learning or simply just like dreaming really big. So let's look at this beautiful mood board that Kate made, which describes the mood so nicely of Sagittarius. It's a fire sign, it's a mutable sign. And when I say mutable sign, it's the end of the season and the transfer to another season. So it's wrapping up and changing. That's what I mean by mutable.
Yes, I love this season. It's both of our sun seasons, so we are very familiar with this energy. And yeah, when you look at the mood board, it just feels warm, it feels celebratory and also a little sparkly. There's a sparkliness to Sagittarius season. And you know, the colors that are associated with it, we have royal purple. And purple, it has always symbolized higher knowledge, imagination, and also the crown chakra, which governs spiritual insight and divine connection. And purple symbolizes integrity, self belief, and a kind of wild nobility through that crown chakra vision. And in ancient cultures, purple dye was rare and expensive, and only the nobility and priests and spiritual leaders could wear it. And so it's a very royal, regal vibe, definitely during this season. Sagittarius doesn't follow the rules. It lives by a higher moral compass. And that regal independence that Sagittarius has, purple really amplifies that vibe.
Aw, so pretty. And then you have, I love purple. And then
Me
you
too.
have the yellow and the orange, a little more vibrant, and fire tones, which speaks of Sagittarius, which has a spark. They're optimistic, and we also have a lot of relentless energy. So the golden tones also mirror the robes of the monks and the spiritual wanderers. It's a node to the Sagittarius's sacred journey throughout life. These colors are lively and they're warm and they're magnetic. They're very fun to be around, just like the Sagittarius spirit. And let's
And
look
we're
at the
not biased at
symbol.
all. We're not biased at
Yeah.
all.
No, I'm not.
Yes, but yeah, let's talk about the symbol for Sagittarius.
So it's the archer with the bow and arrow, the bow with an arrow drawn back and ready to launch. So it represents aiming high and thinking big and seeking truth and also shooting towards something far away because Sagittarius is see the big picture and they want to aim for it. So the arrow is a symbol of vision, of faith and expansion. We're not aiming for success per se, like we're not looking to climb the ladder, but what we really want is the meaning behind it. And it's also a symbol for movement and momentum and constantly striving towards like the next adventure, belief, or discovery. And then we also have this kind of creeps me out a little, but we'll talk about it. So the centaur, which is it's a mystical animal. It's like a human head and then the body of a horse. And that's a symbol of Sagittarius because the human part has like a human brain that wants the philosophy and the meaning and the big cosmic knowledge. But meanwhile, there's that animal horse body that craves freedom and instinct. It's like the animal instinct behind it, the freedom and like the rawness of the experience.
Yeah, centaurs, they are a little unsettling, but they do really explain that Sagittarius energy really well, the duality of it. And, Gemini is the polar sign to Sagittarius. It's exactly opposite in the wheel. This is the sign of the twins. And there's a lot of duality themes with that. And the centaur mirrors that energy as well, being the dual energy of the mind and also the instinctive freedom that that the horse body has.
Yeah.
And also we can't mention the archer without mentioning the fact that Taylor Swift, one of the things that she does in her in the very first round of her Eras tour was she has a song called Archer, and she is a Sagittarius, and she did the little bow and arrow motion during that song, and that became like a symbol for her as well. And I love that she intuitively did that in her show, and Sagittarius energy coming to the pop star stage with the archer symbol.
I didn't even put that together because I know I've seen her in videos doing that, but I didn't put it together that it was Sagittarius. That is genius. Thank
Yes.
you. And let us know in the comments if you want to hear more about Taylor Swift.
Yes, please. Please comment below. We would love to
'Cause we
hear
wanna
if,
talk
if you'd
about
like
her.
to hear about. We might. So please let us know. Great. And then also Sagittarius season, what is the weather like during Sagittarius season?
So the air gets sharper and cooler and brisk, especially like in the northern hemisphere. It's not like bone deep winter yet, but you could still feel a little bit of an edge. And that really reflects like the Sagittarius's electric energy. It's a sign that thrives on movement, adrenaline, and clarity. It's like during the winter when runners put on shorts to run outside because it just like makes them want to move faster. And just like a deep breath of cold air, Sagittarius's energy really is stimulating, refreshing, and bold. So it's a mutable fire sign, like we said before, meaning it brings on change, motion, and adaptability. The weather follows suit in a way, like it's sunny and then it's raining and maybe even a little bit of snow. So the weather during the Sagittarius season could get a little spontaneous. It could feel thrilling. It could be dramatic or chaotic. What do I wear? What hat do I wear? But this kind of changeable weather, it really reflects a Sagittarius's love of surprise, momentum, and a freedom from routine because we do not like being held down.
No, we do not. No, we do
No.
not.
And in colder climates, Sagittarius season, it feels like there's magic in the air, which stirs a sense of wonder and excitement.
Yeah, Sagittarius season, the days are growing shorter and darker, but the mood becomes lighter and more hopeful. And you're kind of taking a little essence of that Scorpio magic, but it becomes more twinkly with the magic. And it feels like the magic is growing in the air. It's when holiday lights appear, like twinkle lights, and bonfires are burning and people are gathering. And that really symbolizes Sagittarius's inner fire of joy and belief and meaning. even in a world that's getting darker. And this time of year, also, people are making holiday wish lists. So they're thinking ahead optimistically, like, ooh, what could I possibly get? A little bit of a dreamy, magical quality. You could get exactly what you wanted if you make a list, holiday wish list. On
Yeah.
the flip side of that, also have this is a time when college application deadlines are coming up and also some career planning. So during this time of year, older students, they're often doing college essays, applications, but dreaming about the future. Like, what's that ideal school that I really want to go to? Because Sagittarius rules expansion and travel, higher education, and envisioning what's next. So, this type of planning and looking forward as a student, it's like being a Sagittarius. It makes people think, what's my bigger purpose? Where will I go from here?
So cool. And then there's also like the school plays, choir concerts, and talent shows because Sagittarius people, they really are performers. We have bold expressions, we love to tell stories. And during this season, all students can step into the spotlight with their own creativity or humor, confidence, and there's often themes there of like the holiday show. So holidays, happiness, or moral lessons. So it's very Sagittarius like to share your voice, tell a story, or inspire through performances. And magic just feels like it's coming because we're preparing for the holidays. Like Kate said, the Christmas lights are going up. Everyone's decorating their houses. There's candy, like everyone has candy at their desk at work. And there's cookies and there's chocolate everywhere and the lights are twinkling and people are putting up their trees. So Sagittarius is the sign of wanderlust and freedom, and people can really feel it like in their bones, whether they're planning for winter vacations that are coming up, there might be some school field trips, or people just might be a little checked out from their routine, like, screw this, we're going on vacation soon. I am not studying about World War II or whatever. So there's a strong energy of wanting to go anywhere but here. And as the semester winds down, energy ramps up and students can get a little stir crazy, more bold, and maybe even like rebellious.
Yes, that Sagittarius rebellious spirit definitely comes out towards the end of the semester. And also something that happens during this time of year is holiday parties. They are big and loud and unfiltered, just like Sagittarius's personality. Sagittarius, they love a crowd. And during this season, parties are huge and fun, and laughter is louder. And also, conversations are more honest. Sagittarius really values honesty and truth. So, jokes made during this time kind of push the boundaries. There's a little truth in jokes told during this time of year. Sagittarius isn't afraid to say what everyone's thinking, especially over a glass of spiked cider. And ask me how I know that. you know, this is like a Sagittarius. During this time of year, it's like say it with sparkle, celebrate like you mean it. Sagittarius rules expansion and connection. So parties become spaces to make random new friends, tell wild stories, and explore new perspectives. It's the time of year where who you sit next to could change your whole night or your whole outlook. And something else fun to do during Sagittarius season is go holiday shopping.
Mm.
Oh, generosity without limits, lots of
I love the lack
spending.
of limits.
Yes, I know. We're very familiar with this energy. And so Sagittarius's ruler is Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of more is more. And so Sagittarius loves to gift big, whether it's something meaningful or hilarious or just over the top. And it's not about obligation, it's about giving joyfully and spontaneously.
Okay. Yeah, it's the thrill of the hunt. So grab your bows and archers. The crowded malls or scrolling through like Amazon late at night, shopping becomes almost like a fun treasure hunt. Sagittarius brings on that adventurous edge, searching not only for gifts, but like a gift that really has meaning or makes someone that you love feel seen. Sagittarius is all about like instinct and gut feeling. So sometimes that means like grabbing a sweater that you wouldn't normally wear just because it feels right now. And the magic is about trusting that impulse because it's usually right.
Yeah, ugly sweater parties. Like that's such a Sagittarius thing. Like
Oh yeah, I wasn't even
goofy,
thinking that.
yeah, goofy and fun and like, oh, I would never normally wear that, but it like evokes laughter. That is such a Sagittarius theme with doing that. That is so cute. And also Thanksgiving always takes place during Sagittarius season. And Thanksgiving naturally reflects the sign's core themes of gratitude, generosity, gathering, and meaning. Thanksgiving really brings people together and brings generations together to share a meal and swap stories and reconnect. And Sagittarius energy, we talked about it being ruled by Jupiter. It's expansive, indulgent, and celebratory. Jupiter doesn't do small, it says more is more. And Thanksgiving feasts are pure Sag, extra servings, over the top desserts, second helpings, and
Mhm.
no shame in the joy of it all. Like
Nope.
nobody talk about diets or scales or anything during Thanksgiving. That is, put it away. That's not
Wear
the
your
vibe.
leggings to the table because you're going to be
Yes.
eating.
Exactly. Yes. Actually, athleisure wear at Thanksgiving is very Sagittarius vibe because you got to be ready to like, and also Sagittarius theme at Thanksgiving, like, a lot of people play like football in the backyard after their meal. Like I think on Friends, they did that in an episode. They
Yeah.
like had their Thanksgiving meal and then they went outside to play. And that's very Sagittarius is like, all hanging out, playing a game maybe afterwards. And Sagittarius's vibe, it's abundance isn't greed, it's gratitude in action. And a lot of people travel long distances for Thanksgiving, and that mirrors Sagittarius's wanderlust and desire for adventure. The journey is just as important as the destination, and the effort to reunite is Sagittarius's version of devotion. And so, whether it's going around a table to say what you're thankful for, or even just silently reflecting, giving thanks is Sagittarius gold. Sag energy seeks meaning and purpose and a deeper truth. And gratitude is one of the highest vibrations that it can live in.
Oh, that's so sweet. And I was just thinking how like some people fall asleep at the table like after eating that meal. So like that's even Sagittarius because like you're dreaming.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It's so
Yes.
cheesy, but yeah.
That's
And
exactly the vibe. I love that.
yeah. And then there's Hanukkah, oh Hanukkah, come light the menorah. It's the miracle of light, which is like Sagittarius hope. Because at its core, Hanukkah celebrates the miracle of oil, where the whole story where they had enough for just one night, yet it lasts 8 crazy nights. So Sagittarius energy can really believe that anything is possible, which is just like Hanukkah. And also the story behind Hanukkah. It's one of rebellion where a small group of people known as the Maccabees, they stood up against a vast empire to reclaim their temple and their right to worship, which is so Sagittarius because we're the freedom fighter of the zodiac, defending truth and beliefs and spiritual freedom. Hanukkah also includes playing games, giving gifts, and eating symbolic foods, sharing stories, all very Sag because we love celebrations and connections and cultural rituals, especially ones that are rooted in meaning and memory. So there's like laughter around the table, there's the passing down of the ancient tales and stories, which is so joyful and warm and wise and deeply alive, which is so Sagittarius because it's all about telling the stories and keeping the spirit moving.
Yes, that's such a beautiful celebration that aligns with the Sagittarius vibes. And also this time of year, this is the holiday card time of year. And like holiday cards are all about meaningful connections, and Sagittarius rules long distance communication and relationships. And holiday cards are literally how people send love across miles. And the cards often carry wishes for peace and reflection or renewal, all deeply Sagittarius vibes. And this sign loves to say something inspiring and hopeful or even spiritual. And holiday cards really give that opportunity for sure. And also, you can't forget during Sagittarius season, white elephant gift exchanges, the
Ooh, love
wild
it.
and unpredictable fun. Like Sagittarius brings energy that's chaotic and spontaneous and a little unhinged, but in the best way. And white elephant parties with random gifts, last minute steals, and unpredictable outcomes really mirror this energy perfectly. It's like every gift in the bunch has a story behind it, even the ridiculous ones. And the weirder or wilder the gift, the better. And this is a sign that really prizes individuality and surprise. So a game that encourages unexpected choices, total Sag energy.
Totally. And hey, let's close out with the flowers that are common. I mean, I know it's like pretty cold out, so we're not getting a lot of growth, but there are a few that represent Sagittarius so nicely. And one of them is called the narcissus, aka the paperwhites, because they symbol rebirth and purpose and clarity. They're delicate white blooms that often emerge in late November or December, depending on like the region you're in. But a Sagittarius will seek truth and meaning, and the narcissist represents hope blooming even in the dark. And it's very fragrant, and the fragrance spreads, and it's attention catching, very Sagittarius.
So beautiful. And also, you have camellia, and those flowers symbolize admiration, excellence, and devotion. They bloom in late fall and winter, and they're associated with nobility and spiritual grace. And Sagittarius has a generous, global hearted nature, and camellias carry that feeling of elevated love and heartfelt purpose. And also, carnations are a flower of Sagittarius. And I know carnations get a bad rap, but they're still beautiful. Okay,
I love them.
they're great, and they represent adventure, fascination, and deep love. Carnations are resilient, and they're colorful, and they're long lasting, just like Sagittarius optimism. And they symbolize bold affection and commitment to a cause or a person, which matches Sagittarius's passionate loyalty and fiery heart.
And then there's the pine trees, evergreen, which symbolizes eternal life, sacredness, and resilience. They thrive all winter. And even though like they don't technically bloom, they stand green and tall while everything else fades. So they're very Jupiter-Arian. Is that right? Jupiter-Arian? Um,
Jupiterian.
Jupiterian. Okay, thank you, Kate. They're enduring and expansive and spiritually rooted.
Oh, so beautiful and grounding, and definitely capture the vibe of the season.
Yeah.
Well, that was so much fun. We hope you loved exploring the signs through the season's fall edition with us. So, in the comments, let us know which fall sign resonated the most with you, your favorite cozy autumn rituals, or what themes came up for you this season. We would really love to hear from you. And we'll be back soon with the final chapter, the winter edition of the 12 signs through the seasons.
Yeah, and if you're loving this journey through the stars, please don't keep it a secret to yourself. Send this episode to a fellow astro lover, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe so you never miss your next royal invitation to the cosmos. Thank you so much for being here with us. We are the Planetary Princesses. And remember, your invitation to the cosmos is always open. So until next time, Cosmic Royal Family, bye.